Today we have in store for you 10 things you didn't know. Get ready because the facts we handpicked for this video are something else. Like for example, did you know that the male seahorses are the ones to actually give birth, not the females? Or that many small animals hide inside the wombat burrows whenever a fire breaks loose? If you think that's cool though, be sure to check out our last 3 picks because that's where things get really freaky. So here's our number 10. Giraffes have just as many bones in their necks as humans. You may look at the massive neck of the giraffe and instantly think that this creature must have at least twice the number of bones that we humans have in our necks, but you'd be mistaken. There are in fact only 7 bones in the giraffe's neck, which is also why moving it is so difficult for the giraffe in the first place. Another interesting fact about the giraffe is that they use their necks and heads as whips to attack one another. This is about as goofy as you can expect, but it's also one of the main reasons as to why they don't fight one another all that often, since plowing their heads into one another can actually be quite painful for themselves too. Number 9. You couldn't tell if a bat was sucking your blood right now. This is because the vampire bat's teeth are so sharp that it can easily cleave right through your skin in an instant, to the point where you would only feel the after effect of the bite. But that's not all. It also has a very potent saliva which dulls out any pain, causing you to literally only feel a sting, then nothing else afterwards. Couple this with the fact that it can drink blood for up to 30 minutes in total, and you have yourself one creepy little bugger. Wouldn't you say so yourself? No wonder its image was associated with the king of monsters himself, Dracula, for so many years. Number 8. A fly's lifespan is only a couple of days at max. You may have spotted a fly around your room one time only to spot it again a couple of days later. Well, chances are you either saw an elder flying past you, literally heading straight for its grave, or you spotted a different fly altogether since the fly actually lives for less than a day usually, with some lasting a couple of days before eventually passing away mid-flight. In order to make sure that their lineage lives on, however, they evolved the capacity to lay around 100 to 150 white eggs for mating season, which means that within a couple of days the fly can easily lay around 500 or so eggs in your house. Number 7. Antarctic sea sponges can live for over 1,500 years. Whenever anyone thinks about creatures on this planet that can live for a very long time, people always think about the immortal jellyfish, or the tortoises that can easily outlive entire generations of humans. But did you know that the Antarctic sea sponge can easily live longer than any of these most of the time? Although not technically immortal per se, the Antarctic sponge can slow down its metabolism and live well over 1,000 years in total, with the oldest specimen ever being as old as 1,550 years of age. The cold essentially keeps them alive, and the effect of this can allow them to live even longer than that. Number 6. Sharks are the perfect apex predators. Now, before you start commenting all about lions and other incredible apex predators from their own ecosystems, we urge you to look at the fact that unlike any other creature out there, the sharks haven't actually had to evolve differently in the past millions of years or so even once. That's right, sharks have literally had the perfect design to be the perfect aquatic apex predators. So much so that they haven't had to change at all so far. Number 5. Male seahorses get pregnant. Unlike with most any other creatures from the animal kingdom, seahorses actually have their males give birth to the young. When a male seahorse finds a suitable partner, he will dance with a female until she ends up depositing her eggs inside of his brood pouch. This results in almost 2,000 baby seahorses being sprung out at one time, pushing them out into the treacherous world around to live in. The reason as to why they make so many is because only 5 out of 1,000 survive all the way to adulthood, with the great majority of them starving to death as they are too small to find all that much good food for sustenance. Number 4. Wombat burrows are safe houses during bushfires. Believe it or not, but wombats, despite not being the largest creatures out there, tend to construct some of the largest burrows known to man for themselves. They have whole ecosystems of tunnels to live inside, and they usually have multiple ones at the same time in case one gets flooded or overtaken by a predator. So when a fire breaks out, most animals actually end up running towards the nearest wombat burrow to hide in until the fire gets put out. While wombats usually will not stand for this, there's little they can do against literally dozens of creatures crawling into the up to 100 feet size burrows. Number 3. Kinkajous can run backwards full speed. While most creatures can pace backwards or even jog a bit before stumbling down to the floor, the kinkajous can do much more than that because they have the ability to literally rotate their feet all the way around. So if a creature attacks them face on, they'll twist their feet around and run the opposite way while still keeping an eye on the predator. This strange tactic usually works for it, as the predators can't actually react fast enough only for them to realize that the kinkajou has already gotten away. Number 2. Flying tree snakes can jump up to 330 feet away in the air. There are plenty of pictures online showcasing the fact that snakes can actually do a sort of spring action to hurl themselves into the air. But did you know that this is not just a joke based around their spring-like bodies, but an actual ability that some of them possess? Meet the flying tree snakes. These danger noodles can actually spring their bodies back, then jump as far as 330 feet away in the air, taking down birds in an instant. Although not venomous, it can still hurt a lot, so we wouldn't recommend getting close to one. And number 1. The hairy frog will break its bones, then attack you with them. Let's just say that there's a reason as to why the hairy frog is also known as the horror frog. And it has a lot less to do with its look and a lot more to do with its interesting ability. Can you even imagine the fact that the horror frog actually breaks the bones from its front feet, only to push them out through its skin to use its claws? That's what I call metal, and why we believe it deserves the number 1 spot on this list. Would you hide in a wombat's burrow if a fire was breaking loose and you had nowhere else to go? Let us know in the comments below. Also, be sure to click on the recommended videos on the left and right side of the screen if you want to binge through more of our awesome content. See ya!